Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare
Bhagavatam Sama जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय गौर निताई গৌরনিতাই জয় গৌরনিতাই নিতাই গৌর হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ 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 শ্রী গুরু চরণ পদ্ম কেবল ভকতে সদ্ম শ্রী গুরু চরণ পদ্ম কেবল ভকতে সদ্ম বন্দমুই সাবধান মতে বন্দমুই সাবধান মতে যাহার প্রসাদে ভাই এ ভবত রিয়া যায় যাহার প্রসাদে ভাই এ ভবত রিয়া যায় কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তে হয় যাহা হইতে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তে হয় যাহা হইতে গুরু মুখ পদ্ম বাক্য চিতে তেক রিয়ায়ক গুরুমুখ পদ্ম বাক্য চিত্তে করিয়ায়ক চিত্তে করিয়ায়ক আর না করিহ মনে আশা আর না করিহ মনে আশা শ্রী গুরু চরণে রতে এই সে উত্তম গতি শ্রী গুরু চরণে রতে এই সে উত্তম গতি যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব আশা, যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব আশা, চক্ষু দান দিল যেই জন্মে জন্মে প্রভু সেই, চক্ষু দান দিল যেই জন্মে জন্মে প্রভু সেই, দিব্য জ্ঞান হৃদয় প্রকাশিত, দিব্য জ্ঞান হৃদয় প্রকাশিত, প্রেম ভক্তি যাহা হইতে অবিদ্যা বিনাশ যাতে, প্রেম ভক্তি যাহা হইতে অবিদ্যা বিনাশ যাতে, বেদে গাই যাহার চরিত, বেদে গাই যাহার চরিত, শ্রী গুরু করুণা সিন্ধু অদমজ নার বন্ধু, শ্রী গুরু করুণা সিন্ধু অদমজ নার বন্ধু, লোকনাথ লোকের জীবন, লোকনাথ লোকের জীবন, আয়া প্রভু করো দয়া দেহ মোরে পদ ছায়া, আয়া প্রভু করো দয়া দেহ মোরে পদ ছায়া, আহা প্রভু করো দয়া দেহ মোরে পদ ছায়া, আয়ে বেজাজ গো চক্রে ভুবনা, আয়ে বেজাজ গো চক্রে ভুবনা, প্রভুপাদ পতিত পাবনা, প্রভুপাদ পতিত পাবনা, জয় প্রভুপাদ প্রভুপাদ প্রভুপাদ, জয় প্রভুপাদ, প্রভুপাদ 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 প্রভুপাদ, জয় প্রভুপাদ গুরু পূজা কে, নমঃ বিষ্ণুপাদায় কৃষ্ণ পৃষ্ঠায় ভূতলে, শ্রীমতে ভক্তি বেদান্ত স্বামীতি নামিনে, নমস্তে সরস্বতী দেবে গৌরবাণী প্রচারিণে, নির্বিশেষ শূন্যবাদে প্রচাত দেশ তারিণে, कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। ओ श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। ओ हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओ हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे 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 राम राम राम। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया कर मोरे तुमा बिना के दयालु जगत संसारे। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य তোমা বিনা কে দয়ালু জগত সংসারে পতিত পাবন হেতু তব অবতার মুসম পতিত প্রভু না পাইবে আর পতিত পাবন তব অবতার মুসম পতিত প্রভু না পাইবে আর আহা প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ প্রেমানন্দ সুখে কৃপা বলে কন কর আমি বড় দুঃখী নিত্যানন্দ প্রেমানন্দ সুখে কৃপা বল কন কর আমি বড় দয়া কর সীতাপতে অদ্বৈত গোসাই তব কৃপা বলে পাই চৈতন্য নিতাই সীতাপতে গোসাই তব কৃপা বলে পাই চৈতন্য নিতাই আয়াহা স্বরূপ সনাতন রূপর গুণাত বট যুগ শ্রী জীবহার প্রভু লোকনাথ আশারূপ সনাতন রূপর গুণাথ বট যুগ শ্রী জীবহার প্রভু লোক দয়া কর শ্রী আচার্য প্রভু শ্রীনিবাস রামচন্দ্র সঙ্গ মাগে নরোত্তম দাস দয়া কর শ্রী আচার্য বাস রামচন্দ্র সঙ্গ মাগে নরোত্তম হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে ও হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. अभी बस बोलो, मुस्कुराओ मत। हरे राम, हरे राम, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, बोलो हरे राम, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare थोड़ा एफर्ट लगाओ, शरीर को लगाना पड़ेगा। राम राम हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna सबको तो गुनगुना रहे हैं सर।
धन्यवाद, बहुत धन्यवाद। जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी, गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन, जमुना तीरा वनचारी, जमुना तीरा वनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी, गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी,
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Bijanavalabha Girivaradhari. Jai Gopijanavalabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jai Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Shila Prabhupada. Nitai go Haribo, 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 Nitai go Haribo. Gaur Premanandi, Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Stotra Satashishya Madhyavan Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitlir Vishnu Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Stotra Satashishya Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Yoga Maharaj Ki Anant Kuti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivatari Govardhan Vrinda Ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Ganga Mai Ki Jamunamayi ki jai. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Deving Saraswating Vyasam Tojayat Prujayat Nasta Preshu Bhadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 10. This is text 7. So text 6 I'll read and then we'll do 7 together. This is deliverance of the Jamal Arjun trees. Text number 6. Tam drishtva vridita devyo vivastra shapa shankitaha vasangsi paryadu sigrang vivastro naiva guyako. Upon seeing Narada, the naked young girls of the demigods were very much ashamed. Afraid of being cursed, they covered their bodies with their garments. But the 2 sons of Kuvera did not do so. Instead, not caring about Narada, they remained naked. Text 7. Tau drishva madira mato Shrimadan dao suratmajo Tayur anugraharthaya Shapang dasyan nidang jago To drishtva madiramato Shrimadan do suratmajo Tayor anugraharthaya Shapang dasyang idang jago To drishva madiramato Shrimadando suratmajo Tayor anugraharthaya Shapang dasyang idang jago To drishva madiramato Shrimadanda suratmajo Tayor anugrahartaya Sapang dasyang idang jago To drishva madiramato Tau, the two boys of the demigods. Drishtva, seeing. Madira matau, very intoxicated because of drinking liquor. Shri Mada Ando, being blind with false prestige and opulence. Suratmajo, the two sons of the demigods. Tayo, unto them. Anugraha Arthaya, for the purpose of giving special mercy. Shapam, a curse. Dasyan, desiring to offer them. Idam, this. Jagao, uttered. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Seeing the two sons of the demigods naked and intoxicated by opulence and false prestige, Devarshi Narada, in order to show them special mercy, desired to give them a special curse. Thus he spoke as follows. Responsively, seeing the two sons of the demigods naked and intoxicated by opulence and false prestige, Devarshi Narada, in order to show them special mercy, desired to give them a special curse. Thus he spoke as follows. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Although in the beginning Narada Muni appeared very angry and cursed them, at the end the two demigods, Nalakuvera and Manigriva, were able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, face to face. Thus the curse was ultimately auspicious and brilliant. One has to judge what kind of curse Narada placed upon them. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives herein a good example. When a father finds his child deeply asleep, but the child has to take some medicine to cure some disease, the father pinches the child so the child will get up and take the medicine. In a similar way, Narada Muni cursed Nalakuvera and Manigriva in order to cure their disease of material blindness. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaham Shri Chaitanya Manobhistang Stapitang Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namaum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatcha Deshatarane. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So in this deliverance of the Jamala Arjun trees, we're hearing how Narada Muni gave a special curse. You'd think, what is a special curse? You know, generally we see it very negatively. It seems that all of us, in one sense, have been cursed to take material bodies in this material world because we wanted to enjoy. So Srimad Bhagavatam is taking us through a journey, you know, creation, material desires, all the entrapments, all the entrapments of this material world. And we are like the child who's sleeping, but we have to take our medicine. So sometimes, are you guys playing musical chairs? Or? Sometimes we, in our sleeping condition, we don't have an understanding of what is right, what is wrong, what to do, what not to do. So it appears that Nala Kuvera, Manigriva, because they were the sons of Kuvera, and who is Kuvera? The treasurer of the demigods, very powerful, very rich. And it's described, we'll hear, especially in the upcoming verse, how there's nothing as intoxicating as wealth, thinking oneself very aristocratic, or I come from, don't you know what kind of family I come from? Don't you know who I am? So this idea of Aishvarya, everyone is very eager for the money. You know, they want the wealth because they feel that if I work really hard and I get a good amount of money, I can enjoy the things that other people cannot enjoy in this world. But it's intoxicating, it's an illusion, thinking that there is real happiness in this material world. But obviously, as being sons of the Kuvera, the demigods, they took advantage of that. Generally, persons who are in the mode of passion and ignorance, when they have wealth, they use it for wine, women, and sense gratification. And this is the basic standard in the material world. People are looking for happiness, but it's like being in the desert looking for water. There's no water in the desert. It's all dry. But there's the illusion, the appearance of water. Even sometimes if you're driving in a car on the road in the summertime, due to the heat and nature, it appears there's water on the road. But then when you get closer, that water is gone. It's not there. So it's described that by good fortune that Narada Muni appeared on the spot, but he's Trikalagya, he's all-knowing, past, present, and future. So in order to give special benediction to Nala Kuvera, Manigriva, I don't know that they've done some pious activities in the past, but by being the sons of Kuvera and demigods in the heavenly kingdoms, obviously there is some pious activity involved, because generally the demigods are devotees of the Lord, although there's more room for the gratification of the senses. So we try to put the two together. How is it that one who is elevated due to pious activity go to the heavenly planets, but then he has more opportunity for enjoyment? So it's like Shine Punye Martilokam Vishanti, that generally from the heavenly planets, from the upper planetary systems, after using up their pious activities, if they don't have the special awakening of the urgency of love of God, or applying their devotional godly qualities for serving or devotional service, generally they come back into this material earthly planet. Because this is the whole Vedic scheme, that by performing sacrifice, that if one understands that this world is temporary, this life is temporary. I've seen my great-grandfather died, my grandfather died, my father died. So many friends are dying all around. Everyone who's born in this world will grow old, get diseased, and die. Everybody dies. So it's like a little child on the bank of the ocean making a nice castle. You know the wave's going to come in and just wash it all away. So what's the use of wasting our time in this material world to try to enjoy the material opulence and the enticements of material enjoyment in the form of sex and sense gratification, and accumulating some very high-powered vehicles. If you have a Mercedes and or a Maserati and all these things, and you think that, I have a big, fancy Rolex or diamonds and opulences, then you think this will bring me happiness. But we see that it's actually a struggle. Material world's a great struggle. So Narada Muni, he blessed Manigriva and Nalakuvera, but they also had to stand as trees for 100 celestial years. It's a long time. But if you think about it, that Narada Muni gave them recollection of what they did wrong. So if one is given that remembrance by the mercy of the Guru, the pure devotee, then when he is again liberated, just like in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, little Krishna's crawling with a mortar, and then with his great power he tumbled those 2 trees down, and the demigods, being very thankful and appreciative, prayed to the Lord, and then were sent back to the heavenly planets, but in this time in pure consciousness, ready to offer their services. So yesterday I think we spoke a little bit about great fortune, chance, and how everything is happening under the plan of the Supreme Lord. So one will think, well, what's the use of endeavoring for devotional life when Krishna knows I'm a nonsense, I'm not going to make it anyway, so, or why should I put forward so much endeavor in following so many rules and regulations when it's ultimately up to Krishna's mercy, Gaur Nitai's mercy, Krishna Balaram's mercy, Radhashama Sundar's mercy, or the blessings of the pure devotee, the Guru. It's described that one simply by studying the Vedas or performing austerities, that there's many who think that, well, I will chant mantras, I will perform yagyas, I will visit all the holy places. If one doesn't awaken this love for Krishna, this seed of devotion, then there was no use in all the austerity. There was no use in all the so-called study, because the ultimate end result is not there. But even the gopis, they didn't follow all the rules and regulations or study the Vedas, and they had a spontaneous love for Krishna. So we cannot intellectually try to adjust. Generally, the process is that one who's very, very fortunate, he accepts that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and that his representative is not different than Krishna. So the Guru is worshipped on the same level as the Supreme Lord. Narada Muni, he's the topmost Vaishnava. He travels throughout the universe and giving guidance, awakening love for Krishna throughout all those who are conditioned and who are fortunate to take up this process. So although we see a few, in one sense, from the millions and billions and trillions of living entities, there's a few who may be attracted, might think, yeah, they're probably, there must be a God. It makes logical sense. And Srila Prabhupada, giving the power of the Guru Parampara, he's given us a formula for following regulative principles. This is the general process that when one seriously wants to learn something, he goes to a teacher and he follows very strictly the teacher's instructions. He carries out his lessons very meticulously, methodically, steady. So we have certain rules and regulations which will help us to awaken that spontaneous love. Because Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they give us the boundaries, enthusiasm, patience, determination, avoiding the association of non-devotees. And we see by Prabhupada's personal behavior, his determination and his dedication to the order of his spiritual master. So when they say that when one becomes a disciple, surrenders to the Guru, tad viri pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam Jnananas Tattva Darshanam. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a bona fide spiritual master. Inquire submissively, render service, and the self-realized soul can impart knowledge onto you because he has seen the truth. He's fixed in the absolute truth. So Narada Muni instructions and mercy for the Nalakuvera and Manigriva, like Srila Prabhupada's mercy to all of us. In one sense, we're hoping to have a nice family life, and Prabhupada said that when he was only 24 years old, he was instructed by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati to preach the mission of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said that at that time I thought, let me first of all accumulate my wealth and I'll use it for spreading Krishna consciousness. He said that one astrologer told that you could be like a Birla, very, very wealthy personality, and he was very successful in whatever he was doing and always a leader. But Krishna made his arrangements in a different way. He took everything away, akinchana gochara, dina bandhu, the very dear friend of the devotees. So Krishna in one sense, but this is all Leela, showed that Prabhupada, no, you preach this message of Krishna consciousness. So all of us were thinking that there's some happiness in this world. I'm with my family, I have my children, my grandchildren, all the nice ladies in the house are cooking and cleaning, and I have so many things, so many possessions. But we're hearing how Parikshit Maharaj at a very young age, he renounced. Even Prithu Maharaj, I'm reading right now, how he was young, he had 5 sons, plus another son from the other wife, and he had so much opulence, so much wealth, and so much opportunity to gratify his senses because he had unlimited resources. But he being a Shaktivesh avatar and an example, he renounced everything, gave it to his sons to take care of the management. It's described that one of the sons of Prithu Maharaj, they call him Antardan, because he pleased Lord Indra when Indra was stealing the horse for the sacrifice from Prithu Maharaj. The Vijitat was the first son of Prithu Maharaj. Anyway, they called him Antardan afterward. Yeah, Vijitashvabhate Antardan, Indra gave him benediction, that he didn't like to exact taxes or chastise his citizens, so he also renounced the kingdom and took up this renounced order of life. So there's examples showing throughout the Bhagavatam and history that great emperors or those who have achieved what most people feel is the goal of life, fabulous wealth, good family, aristocracy, respect, and the people praising and whatnot, but showing that human life is meant for awakening our love for God, meant for going back home, back to the spiritual kingdom. And it's very rare. It's not something easily obtainable. You would think that, well, why doesn't Krishna just bring us back and we'd see how nice it is in the spiritual world and we'd naturally give up our material desires. But it seems to be more complicated, this free will. We all have that minute independence. Krishna's independent, the supreme independent. And he enjoys in a very unique way, killing demons, enjoying with the gopis, enjoying with the gopas, Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, giving us a picture of the spiritual world, how we can achieve the spiritual kingdom. But when that pure love is misused, the independence is misused, it turns into lust. And then there's anger, envy, jealousy, greed, all the things which come about from unsatisfied lusty desires. And then one's intelligence is lost, he becomes bewildered and becomes lost in this material world. There may be a flickering happiness. One may think, I won the lottery, and let me open up institution for higher education, for help orphans and children, or retired widows, or so many philanthropic activities can be reformed. And these are good activities, but the main energy should be utilized for giving Krishna consciousness. In the one chapter when Prithu Maharaj goes back to Godhead towards the end, we were reading yesterday, it says that one should not only read, but he should entice others to read. He should make them sit down and listen and encourage them. This hearing and chanting is our business. This is our, actually, if you boil down all the yagyas and sacrifices and austerities and monistic life and renunciation, the bottom line is that we develop an attraction for hearing about Krishna. The sages in Naimisharanya wanted to hear from Sutta Goswami, and the Sutta Goswami is telling how Shukadev Goswami is preaching to Parikshit Maharaj, and that same preaching is non-different than Krishna preaching to Arjuna. So the pure devotees' words are non-different than Krishna's words. So when we say that we surrender to the Guru, take the order of the Guru as our life and soul, that means that we're taking Krishna's order. And what is that order? Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mangnemaskuru mamevasya sachate pratijane prayosame. Think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your prayers to me, thus you will come to me without fail. So Narada Muni, to break the intoxication of Manigriva Nalakuvera, the idea of being intoxicated, enjoying the opulence of their wealth with the opposite sex, just enjoying in this material world, Narada Muni, it may appear, oh, how cruel, he made them into trees. But they remembered, and they were thinking of how they would get this darshan of Krishna. And then they ultimately received the darshan of Krishna. So, in one sense, those who take up devotional service, their dream of having an enjoyment or a long duration of stay in this material world is smashed. And we have to daily, regularly, not daily, but all day long, think of Krishna. And how do we do that? What is the best process to never forget Krishna and always remember Krishna? Chanting? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is a concession. This is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special mercy. Namo Mahabhadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratrishaya Namaha. That he's giving a special concession because in Kali Yuga we have a short duration of life. As Kali Yuga progresses, eventually people who are 20, 30 years old will be considered grand old men. Now if somebody's 70, oh, so old. You're 70, right? Yeah, so, it's like you see the bodies just starting to get winding down when all the material elements, the water will go to the water, the fire will go to the fire, and all the different bodily ingredients will merge into the earth. But that spirit soul, yang vapi smaram babam tyajat yante kalevaram. So this life is to prepare us in this embodiment with this mind, intelligence, and ego. We all have our understanding of who we are, what we are, and we're all trying to manage ourselves in this world for the best. And the best is becoming a submissive servant of the Guru, because that submissive attitude, then we can hear properly. When one is not submissive, no matter when the Guru is speaking, they're not hearing. It's more of an ornament. Sometimes in the beginning, especially I think in the 60s, there was the uptown gurus, the rich and aristocratic people who thought it was very fashionable to have a guru. So they would have a guru and a picture of their guru, but they would follow no rules and regulations. It was more of a, like I have a guru, so like that. It was more of a social thing. But Srila Prabhupada giving the essence, I think we heard this morning that a good thing is worth waiting for. So there was a lot of yogis and swamis dangling. You just chant, give me your $35, take this mantra and you'll become, happy in this life. You'll become God, or so many bogus philosophies and so many teachings. And if you look in the world of all the philosophers, all the religions, all the religious books, nothing comes close to what Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-Gita. This knowledge is not just some person sitting in a cave 5,000 years ago coming up with all these completely, in America we say, mind-blowing analogies, all these analogies and the clarity of Srimad Bhagavatam. But until we have a mood of submission, becoming humble, the meek and the humble shall inherit the earth. Lord Chaitanya, Trinadapi Sunichana, Tarodapi Seshnana, Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. It's hard to be humble because we all have our egos and our, self-respect, whatever it might be. So humble might be something belittling, or you become like a servant. But to serve the Supreme Master, the Supreme Lord, and to serve the Guru is like serving Krishna, serving God. And the servant of God, he's respected all over the world, like the 6 Goswamis. They had everything, but they renounced everything so they can study scrutinizingly all the scriptures, all the philosophy, and put it together in such a way so it's understandable for all of us, so that we can also get out of the entrapment of this material world. There's a lot of suffering, a lot of agony, war, pestilence, and it's all due to the bodily platform of life. Not recognizing the eternal spirit soul is part of Krishna, meant to serve Krishna. And so we're also in the gardens where flowers are there and the birds are chirping and beautiful lakes, and trying to enjoy this material world. Everyone is thinking themselves go to some island, exotic island. Everyone is, extremely happy to sit around and enjoy in such a beautiful atmosphere. But that delusion is broken for one who understands the temporal nature of this world and the importance of taking up this bhakti-yoga, devotional service. So we'll be hearing more about how intoxicating are the riches, and thinking oneself to be very, very intelligent, very, very beautiful, Mr. Universe, Miss America, this or that, are models. People are infatuated with the beauty. People are infatuated with wealth. People are infatuated with very famous people. So Krishna has all that. He's the most beautiful, the wealthiest, the strongest, even strong people. Sometimes people watch the cage fighting, right? See, who's strong. And Balaram also was teaching the use of the club to Duryodhan. He was his disciple. So the fighting spirit, everything is there. We have everything in very minute quantity. We're very tiny little samples, because the material body, it'll disintegrate and we'll get another material body. But human life is meant with this especially civilized human being, those who are given the intelligence to inquire, who am I? What is the purpose and goal of life? And who are fortunate enough to be sitting in Prabhupada's lotus feet, because Prabhupada, he's the Jagat Guru, the spiritual master, representative of the Guru Parampara. So one should be faithful to Prabhupada. The Vedic, whole Vedic culture is about, how to properly behave in family, man, woman, duty, sacrifice, yajna, please the gods, so that all the necessities of life are there. and whatever, whether you're a Brahmana, intellectual, Kshatriya, protecting people, Vaishya, making lots of money and producing foodstuff, Shudra, helping the whole process move along. In whatever position one may be, he can also achieve perfection under this system of Varnashram Dharma. But the Dharma in Kali Yuga has been completely spoiled by total misunderstanding, no proper brahmanas, no leadership. So Krishna says, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, kalua nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyata. That there's only one solution to all the problems, and I'm having difficulty controlling my mind, chant Hare Krishna. I'm having difficulty appreciating this philosophy of the Vedic literature, chant the Hare Krishna, chant the holy name. I may not like it. Lord Chaitanya says, I'm so unfortunate, I have no taste for the holy name. But we see that he's always chanting Krishna's name, dancing in ecstasy, and setting the example as a devotee, how one should be mad for Krishna. One should be enthusiastic for Krishna. And by following the regulative principles, by steadily chanting the Lord's holy name in the association of devotees, then that natural, spontaneous love for Krishna will manifest. It's not just like an electrical charge from the Guru. We have to, Dhruva Maharaj performed the duties that Narada Muni gave him in a very short time due to his exalted nature and his intense desire. Within 6 months he had the darshan of the Supreme Lord by performing sacrifice. But we don't have that ability to perform the yagyas, which are described that the yogis and the great devotees perform. But the irony or the uniqueness of Kali Yuga and the particular time today, now, is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us the secret formula, the magic pill which will awaken that love for Krishna. And that's the holy name of Krishna. So we need to always be fixed that the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is a shelter, a sanctuary, it's an abode where like-minded persons who are eager for developing their spiritual qualities, who are eager for getting out of the illusion, bewilderment of the glare of Maya. It's described that even great personalities, Vishwamrita, Lord Indra, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, various demigods, they all can be attracted by the illusion of this material world. And there are many examples given in that. So we are tiny little people. We're also distracted in illusion by a desire to enjoy in this world. But that rasa, that special taste, parang drishtva nivartate, one will not continue doing what he's doing unless that he's deriving some taste from that, some pleasure in the form of singing, dancing, hearing about the Lord. So this rasa, this mellow, will thicken, even though it may be in a routine way performed in the beginning. It's a routine. I'm doing my practice, okay, my reading time, my chanting, my service time. It may seem a little robotic or not spontaneous, but that spontaneity will develop. You have to have faith, the maturity, just like you see that green mango, you think, I want a juicy mango, give it time. The green mango will juice in, as long as it's attached to the tree and getting the attached. They call it the king of fruits. of course, when I was in Florida, we had a lot of mango trees, so we had lots and lots of mango. Many people actually don't even know the taste of the fruit of mango. Mango, what is that? So you're missing out. So this special taste of bhakti rasa, this special taste which is awaiting us with our enthusiasm and patience will manifest. And then if we give in too soon to the mind's demands then we'll never have the opportunity to go beyond the bodily or sensual platform to a spontaneous love, to our swarup, our true identity. But we should not immaturely try to rush to that and think that I'm going to go and immerse myself in Radhakun and until I get my swarup. It doesn't happen like that. Sometimes one may be inspired. All of us must have been inspired at some point to give up our materialistic life and take up the life of devotion because something moved us, something gave us a higher taste. Now we need to cultivate and fan that. If you have a little spark, if you fan the spark, it blazes. So our little spark is given by Narada Muni because Narada Muni sent Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada's given us initiation, giving us guidance, giving us encouragement and blessings. Without the blessing of the spiritual master, one cannot make spiritual advancement. Without the blessing of Krishna, one cannot enter into devotional service. So Krishna and Srila Prabhupada are very much connected to our devotional service. So our duty is to follow the instructions of Prabhupada, which is Krishna's instructions. And that is to preach Krishna consciousness, to hear about Krishna and let others hear about Krishna, to chant the holy name of Krishna, encourage others to chant the holy name of Krishna. Krishna is very pleased with that devotee who makes that endeavor to spread this Krishna consciousness movement. So this is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan mission. He saved Jagai and Madhai. Narada Muni previously saved the sons of Kuvera, and Srila Prabhupada saving all of us. So we should all be thankful, appreciative to be here in Vrindavan Dham, in Krishna Balaram Mandir, and those who have service should be very grateful, and those who don't have service, take the service of hearing and chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is service. To chant the holy name, to hear about Krishna, take prasad, it's all service. Very scientifically made by Srila Prabhupada's grace. So we'll hear more in the next several days. Hare Krishna. Anyone have any questions, comments, corrections? Maharaj?
Thank you for your preaching spirit. Yesterday, Narada Muni and Sukadeva Goswami, they're all Mahajans. Now my question is, when Sukadeva Goswami was walking, wandering around, the girls, they did not feel ashamed to cover. When Vyasadeva was saying, they covered. And here,
I know your question.
they covered. So now, what is it that Sukadeva Goswami has that others, the girls or the women, didn't get affected by it?
I think it says in the Srimad Bhagavatam that, he stayed in the womb till he was 16 years old. So he had no experience of family life or distinguishing boy, girl, this, that, and everything else. So Shukadeva Goswami, out of his pure innocence and or being a Mahabhagavat, he was not distinguishing boy or girl, so totally. Whereas Narada Muni, I mean, although he's Mahabhagava, but he's, in one sense, he's been around, he's been everywhere. And so this is the subtlety of this world, that even Vyasadeva was a pure devotee, but still, because he was a grahastha, householder, he could distinguish, what is male, what is female, and then, but the girls saw that Shukadeva Goswami was not in that. He was a totally liberated, innocent child. Like the 4 Kumaras, they decided not to go beyond 4 or 5 years old, because that whole desire for sex and or that energy does not exist in a small child. They just, innocence. So Shukadeva Goswami had that same innocence. Yeah, he didn't care. He was a small child. Little children don't care if they're naked or not. They run around like that all the time. But as an adult, you should not do it. Even though you're childlike in mentality, it doesn't mean you can run around naked. Lord Nityananda also. Yeah, these are all mystical things, very not so easy to understand from a mundane platform. Maybe as we all mature, then we'll have a deeper realization about all these things. But now we're just speaking briefly. Thank you. Yeah. After you, Mataji went to speak. No. No, it's total. I mean, this is a total benefit for Manigriva and Alakuvera, because although it appeared that they lost their opulence and their opportunity to enjoy in the way that they were enjoying, but they were given the greatest opportunity that they would remember. He gave remembrance also. Even though they were standing in trees, they had the remembrance of their misbehavior, and maybe the anticipation of meeting Krishna face to face. Like when you go to sleep at night, next morning you're awake, so much time goes by. Even though 100 celestial years, it may have went, because we can't try to figure out from our point of view, oh, that seemed like a long, long duration of punishment. But this was Narada Muni's way, that when Krishna would appear, and to put them in the yard of Nanda Maharaj, and to give them remembrance, and then Krishna liberating them. So it was, even though it said curse or punishment, it was actually a great benediction. I'm not sure if I... You could, yeah, but Mataji has the microphone now, or... Okay. But I'll bring it back to you for finalization. Yes, ma'am.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you mentioned that everything is predestined. So my question is, where does my endeavor fit in?
We are what?
Endeavor, my endeavorment, my how to achieve it. Where does it fit in? If I don't endeavor, does it change the outcome? Or if I endeavor, if it's a life process, how does it fit in?
It's a big picture, Krishna's ultimate plan. If you don't endeavor, Krishna knew that you would not endeavor. If you endeavored, Krishna knew you would endeavor. But still, this is, from our perspective, to try to verbalize or explain what is Trikalagya, past, present, and future, and everything is predestined. It's a hard one to swallow, understand that, well, what if I did this, then this wouldn't have happened. But that was also known. And if you did do it, that was also known as well. So from a very small point of view, all of us are tiny, and we're like the little frog in the well, and we're trying to analyze what is the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean all about, but we have no real experience. So we should just understand that not a blade of grass moves without the sanction of Krishna. Everything is conducted under Mayadhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharachara. Mother Nature is working under the direction of Krishna. So if we find ourselves here and have the opportunity for devotional service, we should consider that we are very fortunate and somehow maybe we perform some pious activities. But regardless, by hearing from the Guru about the importance of engaging ourselves in devotional service, we should take that and then try to understand how that was already known by the Guru and Krishna. That's a difficult thing. But we should just take good instruction and move forward until we ripen. Like trying to tell a small child, what it means to give, birth or a family relationship. They may never understand, well, how does that all work, okay? But the details, as we mature and as we grow in our spiritual life, all these things will become understandable, and we'll just be mad in love with Krishna and go back to the spiritual world and won't have so many questions. But Maharaj has an answer to something, if the microphone's there, or somebody wants to ask another question.
Another name for Lord Krishna is Hari, one who takes away, especially our Darshan. And also it says that he shows his mercy to someone when he takes away everything that he has, especially his attachment.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems to be like a curse, but actually it is a benediction because the person will not have any other shelter except the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord.
I used to do, that's true, I used to do Sankirtan. I'm still doing Sankirtan, but there are some days you would be feeling the power in the ability to speak properly and to attract people and say all the right things. But then there's other times when you become proud, Krishna takes that away. I mean, how many times I said, Nasta Preshu, Badreshu, Nityang, Bhagavase, and I always think, maybe I'll forget something. And it's Sarvasya Chahang Hridisana Vishto Matat Smriti Jnana Pohanang Cha. Krishna, he gives us remembrance, but also he causes forgetfulness. If you're singing, like say, okay, today, Shruta, you sing the Mangal Arati, and you're on the third line, you think, uh-oh, what is that third line? What I'm saying is we may have been doing something routinely for years and years and years, but Krishna can take it away in a moment. But also Krishna can give us remembrance and ability to understand. So the secret is to surrender to Prabhupada, follow the routine, and Krishna will empower us and sometimes humble us by making us forget. When you're sitting on the big asana, you forget everything. Huh? Well, one more? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see your...
So the greatest benediction from the Vrindavan and Bhagavad tree is that they're able to witness all Krishna's chanting process. When you're here, so they see everything. And when Krishna saw the fruit trees, Krishna immediately remembered his death in his life. He said, oh, these two persons, they put their banana to participate and go and give them remembrance.
So Krishna fulfilled Narada Muni's... Yes. Krishna is very kind. Prabhuji, okay, last question. Thank you. Was I supposed to answer something? There was a comment, right? Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for the question about this Radha and also temple is Krishna. So here the Krishna temple is that you have to take 3 times parikrama and it said that you go to Goloka. Then after this program. So Radha we get Krishna parikrama. So one of my friends was Bala and he was circumvented the process and class and another as a walk. Like you go to Sana Prabhupada.
I may have caught some of the question, but there are many things that if anyone who hears this pastime is sure to be delivered, go home back to Godhead. If somebody performs this, austerity of going around, doing their parikram or this or that, he's assured this. And so all these things are there, but also our mentality and our purpose and our surrender, because only one who is totally desireless, who only wants to serve Krishna and performing the activity for the pleasure of Krishna, then he gets the full benefit, you see. Whereas there's benefit in studying the Vedas, there's benefit in performing yagyas, austerities, and parikrams, and all these things. But until we pure-heartedly accept the order of our spiritual master in the heart and serve with no other purpose than to give pleasure to Krishna, then the benedictions come full on. I mean, I don't want to try to judge a benediction. I'm not sure if I understood your whole question either, because it was hard to understand. But I think I got the gist of it, right?
I just wanted to ask that if you have the benediction that you can liberate it like another as well, so then why do we do the sadhanas and all that?
Well, the sadhana practice will help us to get the proper mentality as well, because if we're not on a day-to-day basis following the order of the spiritual master, then we may perform all kinds of activities which will ultimately not give us the fruit unless we have that mood of surrender and the mood of just without any other desire than to serve Krishna and spiritual master. I just understood it that way. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Dharma, from now on, whenever questions come, you got to sit next to me and tell me what the questions are, because I have a hard time understanding. Okay, I thought it was me. I don't understand a word Ishwar said either. So, it's... Thank you, sir. That's okay? I don't know why that I always get caught up in that, Narayana, Namaskritan, Narangchana, Devasasa. Told you I'm a Hare Krishna.
Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare